Welcome back to our channel, where we tackle important topics that impact our lives and our relationship with God. Today, we have an urgent warning for you about the 4 stages of sexual sin that you simply cannot afford to ignore. In a society where sexual sin is prevalent, even within the church, it's crucial for us to understand the dangers and consequences it brings. Let's dive in. The prevalence of sexual sin host. It's disheartening to see how sexual sin is becoming more accepted and practiced, even among church members and leaders. The normalization of these behaviors has led many astray from God's intended plan for purity and holiness. But we have hope in overcoming these temptations. 1 Corinthians 6:18-20. Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. The power of the eyes and thoughts host. The first stage of sexual sin lies in what we allow our eyes to see. Jesus warned us about the power of our eyes, as they can lead us down a destructive path if we indulge in viewing indecent images on the internet. These images open the door for lust to infiltrate our thoughts and establish a stronghold that can be difficult to overcome. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:28, ESV. Sacrificing for holiness host. Jesus used hyperbole to emphasize the importance of sacrificing anything that leads us astray, even if it is dear or essential to us. It is crucial to remove anything in our lives that may lead us into sin, even if it hurts, so that we can live in alignment with God's will. The connection between eyes, brain, and mind host. Jesus warned us that lustful thoughts and desires are considered adultery in our hearts. This highlights the powerful connection between our eyes, brain, and mind in the context of sexual sin. We can see this truth exemplified in the story of David and Bathsheba, where David's lustful gaze led to disastrous consequences. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:28. Guarding your eyes and thoughts host. We must be cautious and guard our eyes because sin begins with fixation and influences our thoughts and actions. Engaging in sexual sin is often seen as a normal part of life, but it is actually a buildup of desires within us that eventually manifests and disregards the consequences. Jesus' warning in Matthew 5:27-28 reminds us of the seriousness of our thoughts and desires. The invisible and messy stages host. The third stage of sexual sin is often invisible, where people fail to see or acknowledge the spiritual implications of forming connections through sexual intimacy. And sadly, the fourth stage is one of mess and regret, where shame, guilt, addiction, and ongoing struggle occur. It's a painful place to be, but there is hope for healing and restoration. For I will restore health to you, and your wounds I will heal, declares the Lord, because they have called you an outcast. It is Zion, for whom no one cares. Jeremiah 30:17. Overcoming sexual sin through faith host. To overcome sexual sin, we need to put on the full armor of God and accept Jesus into our lives. We must fight in the first stage by guarding what we watch, protecting our eyes, and avoiding lustful thoughts. Let us turn to the scriptures for guidance and strength. 1 Corinthians 6:18-20, NIV. Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. As we conclude this urgent warning, remember that sexual sin is a real and present danger in our lives. But with God's grace and our commitment to purity, we can overcome these temptations. Let us prioritize our relationship with God and strive for holiness, removing anything that leads us astray. May His Word guide us on this journey, and may we find strength and redemption in His unfailing love. But among you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality, or of any kind of impurity, or of greed, because these are improper for God's holy people. Ephesians 5:3, NIV. Thank you for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more valuable content. Remember, God's plan for your life is pure and good. Stay strong, stay faithful, and may God bless you abundantly.